Mentioned defensive player of the years and all defensive teams, right? During my era of people winning defensive player of the year and guys that was on all defensive teams, the people that won it in my era, Ben Wallace, 4 times, Dikembe, KG, Tyson Chandler, Dwight Howard, Ron Artest, Joakim Noah, Mark Gasol, and Kawhi Leonard, and Alonzo Mourning. And I left out one of my teammates, Marcus Camby. So how can I, in your era, Mr. Green, you won it once. Rudy got 4, Giannis, Marcus Smart, Triple J, and Evan Mobley. Kawhi got 2 in that era. So
that was not a woof-woof moment.
Who is, like, what era so of course, and not to mention other guys who didn't win Defensive Player of the Year that played in my era. And we're talking basketball here. You wouldn't have made a roster then at your skill set when I came into the NBA to my 15-year career.
Oh. First jump. Y'all want to address that one? That's a jump. That's a jump.
How is Kawhi Leonard in both their eras? That's what I want to know.
He claims that because the Defensive Player of the Year stuff, they both just named some like all-time defenders, so I'm not worried about that at all. The claim that Draymond would have never made a roster in his era with his skill set
is asinine. And I'm actively pulling up, I'm trying to pull up the defensive player, like not defensive player, but all defensive teams and stuff like that from just in his era. I'm looking for it right now in Basketball Reference. Give me a second.
Well, do you think he would have made,
absolutely.
Do you think Draymond would have made a roster?
Especially knowing how he'd pan out, yeah. The only argument against that would be like, because even with his current like career, he was a 2nd-round draft pick from my understanding, right?
Yeah.
And they had to, David Lee had to get injured, so he had to get some shine. So even then, like there was still luck involved for Draymond Green to get PT. But that's the only way. If we know what Draymond ends up being, and we know that going into, I don't know, the 1999 draft or whatever, he's getting a roster spot. And also, we seen that 2000 draft. He's going to be a lottery pick in that draft.
Come on, man. Like, what are we doing? I'm looking right now at all defensive teams, and I'm just saying when I hear make a roster spot, I'm just thinking making one of these teams. Gang, and I'm being so respectful when I say this, chat, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like I like my hoop knowledge. Theo Ratliff made a 2nd team all defensive team in 2004. Theo Ratliff. Larry Hughes made 1st team all defensive player in 05. Larry Hughes. No disrespect to Larry Hughes, but if Larry Hughes and Theo Ratliff can make it in 04, Kenyon, sorry to tell you, I think Draymond can make a team or two, gang. Anderson Varejao made a 2nd team all NBA in 2010 playing with LeBron James. I remember watching Anderson Varejao. Anderson Varejao is not a bum. He's no Draymond Green. What are we talking about? What are we really doing right now?
Just so people know, too, like Draymond Green in college, we're talking about the last 2 years. His first 2 years, he didn't start. Last 2 years, averaged 15 points, 2 steals, 1 block, 4 assists, 10 rebounds on 71 from the free throw line, 38 from the 3 and 44 from the field. And 1 year was an All-American. He was an All-American, 1st team All-American. 1st team All-American one of these years. I think he's Kenyon's putting sauce on it, so I don't really want to like stick on or harp on if he would have made an NBA roster. I think that's silly. I just think that's silly. Let's keep going.
There was nothing that you could have did with me, nor none of one of the power forwards that I named at their peak, at your peak of your career. Nothing that you could have done with none of us. You would have been an afterthought with that skill set. We played in the post where real men played. Athleticism, skill set. What we did as fours in this league. You would have been an afterthought. Nothing you could have did with me, nothing, nor one of these guys that I fucking named.
Do you think that is Kenyon Martin a post player to y'all?
I'm about to say, why is he? What is this a thing with Gil's Arena where they just let these niggas come up here and lie? Like we can't go back and watch how you played, nigga. Skill in a you're glorified JaVale McGee, twin. Shout out JaVale. No disrespect. You're a rim runner. You rim running. You own that rim. You own a glass. We seen you trying to post up. 3 for 23. Can you play with Jason Kidd? And he put that bitch. Jason Kidd was never dotting you in the corner, top of the break. You was not popping like that. You were not taking perimeter shots. Like you said, you were in the post. He was putting it at the rim for you. You're athletic, sure. Gang, skill set. You just tried to be Shaq. You just tried to strong arm your way through people. There's nothing skillful about that, Kenyon. What are we talking about?
Besides, would you classify him as a post player per se? Like specifically offensively?
He shot in the post. He took shots in the post. Was he an effective one? No. I think he tried it. He tried it. I mean, he tried it. Lob guy, you know, but
do I just not know ball? Do I not know ball?
No, I agree with you, Don. I wouldn't consider him to be a post player. What I think of a post player, but he did technically play in the post because other people played in the post. So then defensively, he had to play in the post. I don't know. I want to go to this bigger clip about him and who was the leading scorer.
I'm just saying. Going against. We gonna sit here and act like
we talking about what I made, what I did.
Act like we don't
take
talk
up for
about
your boy.
on this
Is he the reason you got that ring?
Yeah, I did. And you the reason you ain't got one. You the reason you ain't got one. Nigga got more rings than everybody in your draft. He got more than everybody in your draft.
I stand on mine.
Let's stand on the draft. Number one draft, his draft was ass. Draymond came out. Let's just keep it real. Let's keep it real. If you want to talk about shit, let's talk about shit.
We're talking real shit.
Yeah, let's talk about shit.
What Kenyon did.
Jason Kidd carried your ass up there. You didn't help.
Who let the team score? How did Kidd carry anything when I let the team score?
You had a top 5 point guard. He had a top 5 point guard. He won. He got the job done.
For 4 years.
Yes, he got the job done.
For 4 years.
Let's keep it real.
I played with that kid for 3 years, actually.
And you should have did what I did.
I played with
you wanted to be scoring.
Okay. That's
this is peak content, though. I ain't gonna lie. This is what I love about the player podcast era. You only get that in 2025, man. I'm sorry, man.
Just to add some context, and somebody tried to correct me, so I want to read their correction. So this is to the point about like carrying and everything. Omizi tweets, the Nets were a 26-win team during Kenyon Martin's rookie year. No Jason Kidd. They add Jason Kidd, who finished second in MVP voting, by the way, that year, the next year. And they make it to the finals after winning 52 games. Yes, y'all got carried to the finals. The scoring argument is super weak when we aren't even talking about a half a point difference between Martin and the second and third leading scorers. And this was just in this one regular season. In the playoffs, Jason Kidd led the team in scoring. Where was that other person? Mind you, this 1 year during the regular season. In the playoffs, he was not the leading scorer. Or maybe it wasn't Jason Kidd. Then he was not the leading scorer the next season. Any comments there?
I just love Gilbert Arenas' content brain has expanded because so many times before he is quick to go on Basketball Reference and just dish out numbers. Like they've gotten on him about that. Like, oh, you're a numbers guy. You just look up numbers. He has grown so much as a creator that he realized this nigga is clearly lying. You see him in the clip, go on his phone and look at the numbers, he realizes Kenyon is clearly lying. And he let him go anyway because he knew the clip. Shout out that boy Gil, man. That boy can spot clips in the moment. My boy elevate. That's what I want to see when it comes from these player-led podcasts. Learn the game. Don't just be on here. I'm an NBA player. Ugh. No, be a content creator. Gilbert Arenas is not a basketball player no more. He's a content creator. I love this.
Yeah, he know ball, man. I've seen how
that's
he
good
works.
bump.
Yeah, it's good bump.
That's good bump. That's good bump, right? That's good bump.
Yeah.
You don't think so?
No. I didn't. That's not what I said. I think the discourse is just extremely interesting.
I do find the discourse around Draymond and this whole debacle is extremely nasty. I realized that from the tweet I put out, how many people were so quick to, all I said, wish more greats would come out and talk about Draymond. Cause are we gonna play the Felton and Charlie?
We're gonna get through the rest.
Okay, I want to shoot the low, but I'm just saying, I'm seeing other clips. I'm like, bro, I just wish more greats would come out and talk about. It's crazy how big that tweet got, and for how many people to name the same two people that spoke about Draymond as considered greats. And then the people they try to lump in to being greats. No, Paul Pierce and Oscar Robertson, they said something. Paul Pierce and Charles Barkley, they just said something. Paul Pierce, he did say something. I didn't know I asked for a Boston great. I thought I asked for greats in general. Y'all keep telling me Paul Pierce. Someone had the nerve, but Richard Jefferson and Kendrick Perkins, they both said something too. Richard Jefferson and Kendrick Perkins? What? All-time great. Y'all get real now. I don't know what it is about certain players, but the NBA space is so nasty when it's time to talk about these players. It's ridiculous.
All-time great though. That was kind of a crazy.
I said greats plural. They kept naming. Oh well, Paul Pierce did say. Paul Pierce did say. That's one person. Okay. We know how English works. I asked for plural. Give me multiple people.
Right. No, I just
Well, let's start with PP. Let's see what PP is kind of. He's trying to make sure his guy he's protecting.
Yeah, not too much.
On the court,
all right, listen to this.
Always in the right spot.
I think Draymond is the greatest defender of this new era of the type of basketball.
Sure.
Because of the switching, because he can go all five positions. I don't think you can put Draymond defensively in any other era to where he'll be an all-defensive player. But when he has to switch on the Shaq, Alonzo, Dikembe, KG. With that switch, you're gonna have to do a show. That's why people show. That's why people trap. Now, when you can switch on non-post presence players now, it's easier to defend. But when you have to switch on the dude, we're gonna go to this every time down on this switch. Every time down, we're going to the Dream Shaq on this switch with him.
Okay, to say that Draymond Green would have trouble guarding Hall of Fame.
I hate that point so much. That's the same as people sitting there. That it reminded me of the Anthony Davis Laker days. The Lakers only so good. What happens when Anthony Davis guards Jokic? Nigga, what happens when anybody guards Jokic? It's Jokic. What are we talking? He can't switch on the Shaq. Nigga, neither could your teammates. What are we talking? Nobody switched on the Shaq for real. What? Duh. I don't think you're right. He can't switch on Dikembe. I doubt that. I think he could, unless Dikembe is just going to use that jumper. Dikembe's not going to just mosey his way to the rim, but regardless, I just hate that conversation of, but he can't guard the unguardable player. That's so dumb.
Yeah, he becomes a player who can go from 1 through 5 to 1 through 4. Like, I don't know.
Like, I would say the last 25 years, I think Draymond Green's one of the 5 best defensive players.
I don't agree with that.
In the NBA.
I don't agree with that.
KG, Duncan, Kawhi, Draymond, Dwight Howard. To me.
Well, Ben Wallace is not in there.
I think Draymond Green's a better defender than Ben Wallace.
Okay.
I do.
I don't know about that.
I mean, there's some other defense.
Wait, what did he say? Let me see.
Draymond, last 25 years, I think Draymond Green's one of the 5 best defensive players.
I don't agree with that.
In the NBA.
I don't agree with that.
KG, Duncan, Kawhi, Draymond, Dwight Howard.
KG might be the polar bear. I ain't gonna lie.
Is KG the polar bear or not? I was about to say Dwight.
Who are the other two?
It
KG,
was
Duncan, Dwight, Draymond,
Kawhi. Yeah.
Y'all in the same tier. Is there supposed to be a polar bear?
Relative to the class that he named. So somebody has to be the odd man now. Because then he said Ben Wallace.
Oh, I probably would have said Dwight. I probably would have said Dwight as the polar bear.
That's what I'm saying. If that is the criteria, again, in the last 25 years, I would say Dwight's more of a polar bear compared to those players. But he's still great. I would have thrown. Y'all just gonna forget about Ron Artest, and then we're gonna have to have that conversation. Who moving down for Ron Artest? That's where I would have took it. But it's not crazy to say. It's not like Draymond's the polar bear. Like in this conversation, I don't think Draymond's the polar bear. That's the biggest thing.
I mean, I do want to ask y'all like how, because Draymond's main thing is switchability. How important was that in the early 2000s? Because obviously now it is, but was that really that important in the 2000s?
It depends on who your matchup was, and it depends on the big. If you're gonna tell me a big that nobody was guarding, then cool, gang. He's not guarding Shaq. Neither were y'all. Cool, gang. He's not guarding Yao Ming. Neither were y'all. Like, but if you're about to sit here and tell me, nah, he couldn't have switched on to Marcus Camby. Shut up. I'm not about to listen to. You know what Nene was gonna do to him? Shut up. What are we really talking? He can switch on to Nene.
Well,
cool. Don't get me wrong, but come on, dog.
Yeah, I'll say this. I think the not even I think I know. Switchability wasn't the most important thing. People were fighting through these screens and getting through different actions and stuff like that. And that's how people were getting like super deep post steals, et cetera, et cetera. But I also think it wasn't like an emphasis until, especially you get some of these tweeners, and you had some people doing this. But when guys like KG, these perceived guys who had like mad switchability came along, people glazed them just like they glaze today. But I actually think the scale is lower because the expectation is the switch, where back then that wasn't the expectation. So then like you get a guy who's propped up back then just because he has switchability, even if he is a lower tier defender. Whereas today, even if you're a good position defender, like you guard two guards, you'll get knocked because you can't guard ones or you can't guard threes, which did not exist back in the day. If you could guard twos back in the day, you were a lockdown guy. But because you can't,
you were a Kobe stopper. You were a Kobe stopper. That's when this guy's a stopper guy, this, that, and the third. That'd have been fine. For Draymond, back then, he would have been a 3. Like in the 2000s, he'd have been a 3-man. He wouldn't have been a 4. Maybe you switch it to 4, maybe sometimes, but realistically, he'd have been a 3-man. So you look at the perimeter players at the time. Draymond wouldn't have been in the post for real. Like Draymond would have been guarding threes. Whoever was considered to be a 3 in the 2000s, that's what he'd been guarding. So you're telling me he can't guard Paul Pierce effectively? Like, cool. Paul's gonna get his numbers. He got busy. I'm not saying he's gonna shut Paul Pierce down, but he would have been a good defender on Paul Pierce, just like Ron Artest was, just like Bruce Bowen was, just like Tayshaun Prince was. Whoever were these wing defenders, Draymond would have just been in that conversation with them. Like, that's all it would have been. And that's what's so disingenuous when it comes to guys like Kenyon, when it comes to Charlie Villanueva, when it comes to these guys speaking on Kenyon Martin, speaking on Draymond Green. It's like they remove context and they know what the game would have been. They know Draymond wouldn't have had to guard them back then. They know he's not a 4 in the 2000s. Literally, but for whatever reason, but now where he's got to guard Shaq, he got to guard Hakeem. What you gonna do when we get you on Hakeem? Hakeem?
Kenyon also couldn't guard Shaq. I don't know.
Now that I'm thinking about it, the thing that really confuses me is the lack of the focus being on defense. Because I think defensively, we can all agree on this. He would have been fine. I think offensively is where he would have struggled the most.
He wouldn't have struggled as much. He would have struggled as much as Kenyon struggled. Like when we're talking about the relative games, like yes, he wouldn't have been a go-to scorer. But in that era, with the skill set he has, in that era, he'd have been a dependable shooter. Would he not have been? His 8 years relative to era?
Relative as a 3, if he's playing the 3?
Relative to era.
I ain't gonna lie. What was his his ability to shoot relative to era? He'd have been on par with the rest of those guys. He'd have been considered a guy you kick it to shoot. He wouldn't have been a shooter, but he definitely been a guy that can shoot. That's a guy that we trust to shoot the ball back then. So he has a shot. He's already Bruce Bowen. Right now, throwing back then, he's Bruce Bowen. Wait, hello, am I good?
No, you good, but
all right. He's already Bruce Bowen level. Am I bugging?
No, I don't disagree with
Bruce Bowen a shooter though.
Oh, I'm not going.
But I'm saying Bruce Bowen's not a shooter, but I'm saying Bruce Bowen wasn't looked at as a guy that was just inept on offense. Like they trusted him to shoot the ball if he opened, right? Like that was his thing. Catch and shoot, play defense. Draymond could at least been that.
I'll say this, Bezos. The bar is
I
like
guess.
the bar would have been relatively low for what they classified as a shooter.
I mean, let me make it clear. We are talking from the perspective of just like, can he make a fucking roster spot? So from that perspective, yes, he would have been fine. Starter, probably fine. Most likely fine. Now, star, third option on a championship team. Offensively, that's where I am a little bit more hesitant. Because I think we're being hyperbolic with, he just couldn't make the lead back then. He could have made the fucking lead. But.
Yeah, and that's, it's crazy, and we've got more clips to react to. That's always the cop-out for that era of player. They couldn't make my league. That's always the answer. Let's continue down the line, man. We got a guy who played with both Kenyon and Draymond. RJ. Let's see his thoughts. No. Oh, yeah, okay, there we go.
The true after the knee surgery. But Kenyon was that dude. Now, Draymond, part of the reason why many months ago I said, Draymond, you are the most important defender of this generation. And that's based off of my knowledge of Kenyon Martin. That's my knowledge of Kenyon Martin and what he would do, right? That's why in Golden State, if they lose you, right, it's a problem. Same way when we lost Kenyon, we never went to a conference finals.
Gotta stop him. Sorry. I checked it out. Just the year that the Pistons went to the finals, Kenyon Martin was still on that team, and they stopped going to the conference finals while Kenyon Martin was on the team. Just got to call it fair. It is what it is.
I just feel so bad that these dudes grew up watching like players of yesteryear talk about the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and they can just lie about stuff and get away with it. They cannot do that. Like these 2000 dudes, y'all get up there and lie on these platforms, and then it's a nigga like me or Omar. Basketball Reference fact check. You're lying, gang. I don't know what you're talking about.
Now, to Kenyon's point, Dre, I love you to death. Kenyon, it was a little different up there, right? There's that Ron Artest, there's that Kenyon Martin gene, right? Where it's like, hey, you don't want them to see red. You don't want those Bulls to see red. I personally don't believe that if you two were on the court at the exact same time and you were being Draymond and he was being Kenyon, if this was 2004, Dre, you would have had some issues. If it was 2020, I think the dynamic is different. It's not allowed to get that way. If you were playing with Kenyon, because I watched him club Karl Malone, I watched him club Tracy McGrady, and part of the reason why I got the start, or they traded Keith Van Horn, is because every time Kenyon would get suspended, and it was a lot, I would get to start. I would become the starting small forward. So that's what I'm expressing, is that if you, and this is not saying that Draymond, you would have talked how you talked, because that's who you are. But if you would have talked like that to Kenyon in 2004, when he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated with his chest out saying badass yellow boy, and the NBA told him he had to stop showing that tattoo when he would dunk on people, y'all would have fought.
So the rest of RJ's clip is like him going into that point. I really want to get to, again, this has touched every piece of the NBA sphere. I do want to get to what Theo Pinson and them said. I don't want to belabor this point, and I think I only got this one clip. Theo Pinson and them,
the crew.
All right. Well, let's say he went to Memphis. He had 8, 6, and 7. No one gives a damn because they're losing.
Are we only looking at stats?
We're looking at production.
You say you're a basketball.
We're looking at production. Let me ask you this,
right?
If a guy is averaging 8, 7, and 6, and they're losing, does it matter?
Exactly. No, it doesn't.
Okay, so what are you talking about?
It's always the niggas that's not averaging 8, 7, and 6. Man, I personally, with the Richard clip, gang, I respect you so much, Richard. That's crazy dick suck that you just did. Just because King used to bully y'all in the locker room don't mean you gotta keep blazing this nigga in 2025 like this. Draymond, you would have talked, but I seen Kenyon club people. The fuck that got to do with Draymond? Now Draymond's not fighting back. Draymond's just not gonna fight nobody when it's allowed. It's allowed when it was more acceptable. Now, not allowed, obviously. It's more acceptable to crash out, and you don't think he's gonna crash out. Y'all think Draymond is just a crash out because of this era. Cool. That I can't take away y'all opinions. But for you to do that being the fence sitter here, super nasty work. Super nasty work, super disingenuous. And honestly, this just goes to show how nasty those locker rooms were back then. They really got y'all traumatized. Like, Kenyon was really a bully. This is crazy.
I'll at least say this for Kenyon, or for Richard's purposes. You know, at least the fact that he stayed on pot was very, very important and very, very impactful. Yo, I'm going down the list of these like small forwards of the 2000s. Oh my gosh, it's nasty. It gets really, really nasty.
I think Draymond is just the best he's ever watched. You know what I'm saying? And Kenyon's the best he's ever seen. That's all it is.
I just think whoever that was that said, but Draymond's stats are Kwame Brown level. Gang, I need you to do me a favor. Pick up a book and do the knowledge, because 8, 7, and 6 from Draymond looks way different than the best of Kwame. 10 and 7 from Kwame Brown. Way different levels of production. And I don't like people measuring production strictly on stats when we can see like what the impact is. Like, I hate when people get disingenuous about conversations about basketball when it comes to Draymond Green, and they minimalize what he does when it's things that don't show up in the stat sheet or box score. But then in the same breath, we'll have conversations about former players or current players who do the exact same thing and they get praised for it. Just say I don't like Draymond. Just say fuck him. Like, honestly, don't speak on his game. Just call him a bitch. At that point, just say you think Draymond's a bitch. I don't think you a bitch, Draymond. I fuck with your game. But obviously, Charlie Villanueva, Theo Pinson, they think you bitches. You gonna take that?
Last thing I'm gonna say is, yeah, we can move on.
We're not making it to NBC with that one. Man.
Not with that one.
Nah.
I would just love to know, like, I'm sorry. I would just want to know to these people, if I just ask them, like, yeah, Kenyon, yeah, Draymond couldn't make it back in the day. How are the Hawks? How were the Hawks in your heyday? How are the Cavs? How are the Bulls? Were there monsters at that forward position? Like, be honest. I would ask him first, do you even remember who those players were?
No, but they better than him. That's his answer.
Yeah.
No, but they got down in the real man's era.
Who was on the Bucks? Yeah. The Bucks was a little deep now. They weren't. Oh, Darvin Ham was on there.
Ass.
Starting lineup from day one. Glenn Robinson. Big dog. That's who they was running the small forward. So let me not. Damn, they finished 41 and 41. Oh, God, that's terrible.